Hello, folks. A lady friend of mine just sent me an article called 5 Reasons Being a Single Mom is Way Better Than Being a Married Mom. I don't usually read mom blogs because they tend to just be feel-good claptrap that says, whatever my shitty situation is, totally rocks. It's just there to make you feel good. They don't have to do any research. I don't think they have one fact checker in the entire genre of writing. But I read this with a critical mind because someone sent it to me and asked me to, and I was disgusted. It's by a woman named Elizabeth Laura Nelson, who comes from my borough of Brooklyn, and she married some old 40-year-old codger when she was 23, divorced. She's got 2 kids now, and she wants to let other moms know that totally rocks. Everything shitty about being a woman that comes from feminism totally rocks, okay? Being a cougar, being old, being single, yeah, it's cool. Having droopy tits probably rules, I don't know. But number 1, she says, I don't wake up filled with rage every morning. She says on a typical morning, she'd have run a loop in the park, made breakfast, packed her daughter's lunches, found a mitten, busting balls, kicking ass, taking names, and blah, 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 broken up a squabble. Then he'd wake up. That's the man in the relationship. He'd make a pot of coffee and stand there in his pajamas, waiting for it to brew. It drove me bananas. My girls got used to hearing Mommy yell. Notice it's written for children, too, in a weird way. Let me explain something to you ladies. We do suck in the morning, us dads. That's because it's not our time to shine. It's your time to shine. It's your turn to get the lunches ready. It's your turn to be stressed out, to be worried. That from when the 6 to 9, that's your rush hour. After that, when we're gone to work and the kids are at school, not only can you do whatever you want, no one has any way of knowing. You can watch daytime TV, you can sit and look at a booger and stare at it for 10 minutes thinking, that looks kind of like Donald Trump's hair. No one cares. It's not any of our business. You can go back to bed and go to sleep. We can't. We are out there rushing for a meeting in real rush hour, trying to get more money for you to spend, to buy mittens, to buy the coffee, to put the roof over their heads. We have to worry about everything. It's all our problem. Even when things are going well, we have to have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D for, I don't know, what if we get sued and we're broke tomorrow? So that pissed me off. And then we had number 2. I get whole weekends off from being a mom. By the way, spoiler alert here, every single thing of these 5 reasons why it's great to be a single mom involve her. The kids don't come up once. Me. I get whole weekends off from being a mom. Doesn't that sound suspicious to you? Doesn't that sound terrible? These kids are getting 5/7 of a mom. The kids are also getting 2/7 of a dad. Imagine a dad bragging, going, I get 5 days off from being a fucking dad. Blech. Believe me, I need a break from being a dad. It sure sucks being a dad. I get the weekend off from being a mom. Yeah, but if you're not a mom, someone doesn't have a mom for those 2 days. Do you understand? And I'm reminded of, I was at the airport recently, and I heard this guy in the next stall, and he was changing a kid, maybe a 7-year-old boy, and he had feces all over him. Sorry to get so graphic, but I guess the kid had pooed his pants. He had a wet fart. Not a big deal. I get him once a year. And I heard him yelling, God damn it, what's the matter with you? And then I heard him say, there's something wrong with you. And it gets sometimes with dads where you go, I'm going to have to intervene because that is going a little too far. Don't say there's something wrong with him. Jesus Christ. He's mad. The kid's crying. They go out, and I follow their shoes because I had to see who this was. And he sits with his mom. And then the dad was mad. He just looked at his newspaper. He had cleaned up the mess, I presume, thrown the underwear in the garbage. And then the mom was holding the boy and consoling him. You see what's going on here? Yin and yang, good cop, bad cop. That's what a well-rounded person has. You can't have all the hair stroking. It's okay, you just sharted. And you can't have all the, there's something wrong with you, idiot. I just threw your underwear in the garbage. You need the balance. You need to know that you have to be more organized about your bowel movements, but you also have to know there's nothing wrong with you. You just had an accident. And when you remove those things from the equation, it's not like they get a beautiful balance over the course of the week. No, they get 5 of too much mommy and 2 of too much daddy. Not enough of both. It's not about you. By the way, race is a major factor here I'm ignoring. This is a white woman. The black community, Hispanic community, especially in New York here, is up to 80% single moms at times. So I'm kind of ignoring that because it's a totally different culture, different demographic, and would fill up a whole other video. We're focusing on what appears to be middle-class white moms here. Number 3, I get to make the rules. Yeah. No more trying to get the kids to fall asleep after their dad winds them up. Their dad winds them up? You mean when he's a giant elephant and they all pile on his back and he walks around the house going, "Rrr," and they laugh their heads off, making wonderful memories forever? What do you mean winds them up? He slaps them? No, he plays with them. He's helping them grow. No more, she says, no more, but Daddy said I could eat snacks on the sofa. Jesus, so much here about having to be democratic with your husband and share the rule making. By the way, it's not good just to have a mom making the rules. Dads seem to be better at rules. They're sort of prison guards, but the mom is there for checks and balances. It's a team effort. And the idea that you can just become a dictator all of a sudden is bad news. And I saw an article the other day that said, adopting when you're alone. And it was an article about single moms adopting. That's called child abuse. Yeah, I'm sorry. Kids are much worse off when they're raised by single moms. So if you knowingly do that, if you're not a widow or something, or there's some sort of horrible catastrophe that leads you to this, if you knowingly saddle your kids with a single parent, you've abused them. It's like knowing they're going to be blind or they're going to be deaf, or knowing this, you're purposely setting out to make a kid with a disadvantage. Isn't that child abuse? Number 4. I found out how amazing my friends are. I put myself in such a horrible situation that my friends had to come in and help out. And I saw, wow, you're nice. Isn't that a great way to learn something? Why don't you just say, you know, I really enjoyed drowning because I got to see which of my friends can swim. Turns out 2 of them, who I never thought were good swimmers, had to come in and rescue me. What an eye-opener that was. Good work, lady. And then she talks about how her friends get to live vicariously through her sex life. This woman is in her late 30s, I believe, and she's out gallivanting around the town. I don't even want to know what she's getting up to, but the fact that she's bragging about it is what disturbs me. If your husband was cheating and he kicked you to the curb and you're left all alone here with this kid, that's terrible. That's a tragedy. And you have my sympathy. But my problem here with these women's, I want to call them women's magazines, online magazines, is they glorify this terrible situation and try to say that it rocks. Because women today are all about rocking and rolling and you're a badass. Oh, why did you marry a 40-year-old when you were 23, by the way? And then she says, I wanted my girls to grow up knowing it's never too late to change course and pursue happiness, even if it means breaking a promise. Great lesson for the kids, by the way. And also, I'm 45. I'm a Gen Xer. I gotta say, 80% of my friends don't have kids. And I'm not talking about cool alternative friends. I'm talking about the suburban kids I grew up with. I'm talking about everyone, race, class, everyone. And I believe it's because they were traumatized by divorce. They go, I had a shitty childhood. My parents were totally selfish. I only saw my dad on the weekends, and I don't want to duplicate that. So, way to go, divorcers. Now, just in case you didn't like it when I said it's child abuse to knowingly become a single mom, I would like to direct you to Sarah McClanahan at Princeton University, who suggests boys are more likely to end up in jail or in prison by the time they turn 30 if they are raised by a single mom. Again, race is skewing that stat. But lest you think this is all about
there's a winner every 1 to 2 minutes, which is unbelievable, where no other app can see it.
rich and poor. It's true that poor families, this is by the way from a Slate article, I believe. It's true that poorer families are more likely to be headed by a single mom, but even factoring out class shows a clear difference. Research by the Economic Mobility Project at Pew suggests that children from intact families are also more likely to rise up the income ladder if they were raised in a low-income family, and less likely to fall into poverty if they were raised in a wealthy family. You see? And also, by the way, this lady has girls, so let's focus on the young girls that are getting this totally awesome mom 5 days a week. The Bruce Ellis University of Arizona, this is Bruce Ellis of the University of Arizona, he found that 1/3 of girls whose fathers left the home before they turned 6 ended up pregnant as teenagers, compared with just 5% of girls whose fathers were there throughout their childhood. You got that? 33% pregnant teens, only 5% pregnant teens when dad stuck around. I am noticing there is this push for divorce all the time. I know of a couple there, they weren't married, but she went to see him, her therapist, who I suspect was a bitter, old, dumped divorcee. That's just my interpretation. But she went in there and said, I'm not happy, and the woman said, dump him. You're not happy. Get rid of it. And they did. He was about to propose to her. She's miserable, calls him crying all the time. I can tell you at least half a dozen of stories like that. And also with my married friends, every time I hear about them going to couples therapy, it always ends badly. I was talking to a couple once, and they said, yeah, we go in there, and they say, the therapist says, do you have sex when you're on vacation, when the kids aren't around and you can have sex? And they go, oh yeah, we breed like rabbits. And then he says, the lady, always seems to be a woman, what would you have said if we said no? And then she said, well, we would start coming up with an exit plan. Can you imagine you go see your priest and you're having trouble with your faith, and he says, well, do you pray to God when you're about to get in a car accident? Do you ask the Lord? Or when you're hungover, do you pray to God to stop barfing? And if you said no, I would come up with an exit plan. Why is there an exit plan? I mean, we're not talking about abusive relationships here. We're talking about marriages that need some work, and the first reaction always seems to be, boom, let's get rid of this. Well, you can't get rid of it, okay? I'm sorry you're unhappy. Fix it. This isn't about you. It's about the kids. So grow up. Being a single mom sucks. It sucks for everyone, especially the children that you brought into this world.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even